Powered by Mpb, this is Chalkboard Chat, a Mpb education podcast, hosted by Germaine and Tara Wren. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org.
I'm Germaine Flood.
And I'm Tara Wren.
And this is Chalkboard Chat, an Mpb education podcast dedicated to providing resources for teachers, parents, students, guardians, and education enthusiasts. Class is now in session, and we want to welcome you to Chalkboard Chat. Let's start filling this slate. Tara, how are you doing?
I am doing well, and I am super excited about this new podcast.
Me as well. I am super pumped to be able to be the new host of this podcast where we'll be getting out this education information, and we want to take it back to the chalkboard, that chalkboard that you saw in school when you were growing up. Tara, do you remember that?
I do remember that, the all-important chalkboard where all of the most important things are written and learned.
Yes. What is your fondest memory of a chalkboard?
Well, I was one of those students who loved to go to the chalkboard to do math problems, even though math is my least, not favorite, but, it's just not my best subject. But, but then my most memorable thing at any chalkboard is that I'm left-handed, and the chalk got all over me, my clothes, and everything. So, hey, I like chalkboard.
Right. My fondest memory of a chalkboard is being the one to raise my hand when the teacher would say, "Who wants to go dust the erasers?"
Oh, no. I never dusted the erasers.
I wanted to go outside and beat the erasers against the tree badly. That's the way the dust came off. So that's my fondest memory of a chalkboard, just trying to be the first one up there to be able to dust those erasers off for the teacher. So we might not be dusting erasers, but we'll do it virtually. So let's tell them, Tara, exactly what it is that they can expect with Chalkboard Chat.
We want to get the most relevant and timely information out, and we will invite special guests, experts in various fields, to talk about various topics in education during COVID, before COVID, post-COVID, and that education may not just be about the classroom. It's all the way from early childhood to workforce development and everything in between, healthy eating, whatever is hot, the hot topic, Germaine. You and I will be talking about it, and we will be talking to people across the state of Mississippi to help us bring this information to our fellow Mississippians and those listening wherever they are.
Definitely. Here and beyond, outside of the state, we want to make sure that we're hitting those topics. Any topics that are on the top of your mind, Tara?
I just learned that Mississippi is considering doing school year-round. So, I think that would be a hot discussion if that is definitely put into play. So whatever is new, innovative, STEM education, I want to talk a lot about that. There's this notion out there that our children in Mississippi are not getting enough and not skilled enough to get those jobs in Mississippi that ask for a STEM education. And we want to push things like STEM education. We just want to promote the skill set of Mississippians, bring folks on who would allow our listeners to understand what they need to do to put themselves in the best situation to be successful.
Now, when it comes to education, everybody has their own story about what their education journey looked like, and mine is no different than probably some others. Mine was not always traditional, Tara. I was not the smartest kid in high school. I was not the most diligent student in college either, but I got to a point to where I ended up doing really good in college towards the end, getting out, being able to get my job. And so everybody's educational journey looks different. And I've learned too, Tara, because you and I have known each other for a little while, but there's something that I learn every day. I was delving into your educational journey, and I'm hearing from Dr. Lackey at Jackson State that somebody didn't finish high school.
That is funny. I absolutely did not complete high school.
What?
Actually, yeah, if you pull out that dropout list, my name's on it.
I believe it.
Actually, Dr. Hilliard Lackey at Jackson State University invited me as a sophomore in high school, come over to Jackson State and to talk about a new program that they had. Well, if you had at least a 25 on the ACT, and you had so many other credits in high school. They had a program, and it was sponsored by the Mississippi Legislature, I believe, and they allowed me to skip my senior year in high school. And, I was at a point in my life where I was ready to move on, and I did that. I skipped my senior year in high school. I received a 4-year scholarship to Jackson State University, where I studied mass communications, and I completed my undergrad there and also completed my graduate degree there in marketing, and that's been my path. I'm currently trying to finish a dissertation at the University of Southern Mississippi. It's been a really great path, and I would tell you, I have had mentors, teachers, and of course my family who helped me get to the point and stay connected right now. And I'm hoping that that's the same thing that we will do on this podcast, Germaine, is make connections, because as a sophomore in high school, I had no idea that I wouldn't go to be a senior in high school. And I just, in a little hindsight, I miss it, and I see the memories sometimes from my classmates, and I say, oh, wait, I wasn't there. But I'm happy about my path. And as you said earlier, everybody's journey is different, and we're hoping to open up some ideas and to others who are listening about their journey and help them along the way.
Right. Now, let's back up a little bit. This 25 on the ACT is pretty amazing. I was scratching for a 19, Tara. I want you to know that.
Well, I was scratching for a 25.
I mean, and this is what I'm saying to our listeners out there. You can literally be on any education level, whereas Tara can skip the 12th grade and still be going for her doctorates. It doesn't matter how you do it, how you get there. We want to be able to address those stories, those human stories that you all have about your educational journey, about things that are important to you, about things that you would like to hear, and we'll do that here. Now, when it comes down to us here at MPB, we are a part of MPB Education. I'm Germaine Flood, of course. I'm the podcast host. Tara Wren is the Director of Education at Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and we'll delve into some of the things that we offer here inside of MPB Education.
Absolutely. And Germaine, before we go to that conversation, what I do want to back up and say is that what we just talked about was your journey and my journey. But a lot of journeys across the state of Mississippi, and some about areas of Mississippi, and more rural areas, and some about families, our children, they don't have the resources. There's so many opportunities these days that are out there and that are available. We want to be able to put those resources in front of individuals who may not have our stories, who may struggle, even grade level reading struggles, because it starts at an early age, your success, later on in life, who may struggle going to college. Everybody won't go to a 4-year college, but there are so many different programs and training opportunities and certification programs that will put people on very different journeys. And so we want to be real, talk about real stories, hear real people's stories, and talk about how we can help put them on the path, and have guests on the show to introduce these resources and tools that will help individuals be successful. So we're inviting all stories on this particular podcast.
Right. Use us as your megaphone, please, is what we're asking. Right.
Absolutely. Okay, now on to your question. What was your...
No, you're fine. Okay, so we wanted to delve into some of the things that we do in MPB Education. We have those departments. We've got our early education division. We have got our community engagement. We have got digital learning as well. So, Tara, if you wanted to explain, exactly what we do here at MPB Education, please.
Absolutely. Well, I always like to say that we're the best kept secret at MPB, even though I think we are creating some more roads and putting down footprint. A lot of our listeners will probably know about MPB Think Radio, MPB Television, and we have MPB News, and more are learning about MPB Education. MPB Education, as you've already stated, has an early childhood division where we tackle and work projects and initiatives that focus on families learning together. We focus on the children. The early childhood division has training workshops for early childhood teachers and leaders. We also have EdSed will fall on the early childhood. EdSed is our healthy eating initiative, Germaine, which you are managing these days, doing a very fine job.
Thank you.
EdSed is our rapping, rhyming, edutainment. That's what we call character. He is edsed.org is where you can find him. He has videos, webisodes. There are also classroom curricula that teachers can use in their classroom to help children learn about healthy eating and healthy living practices. We also have the Mpb Kids Club that we'll be talking about here on the show as well. The Kids Club members, they get all sorts of perks from Mpb Education. We announce their birthdays on television, on the website. We also send them a newsletter, and they get first dibs at our special programs sometimes that we have at MPB and virtually these days. Also, we have, I'll go back to EdSed. EdSed does school visits when we are absolutely ready to do that again. We travel around the state with EdSed and so much more. Then we also have digital learning for educators and students. E-learning for professional development where teachers can get their CEUs. And we have the Digital Education Network, which we call the DEN. And in the DEN, it's a very unique situation. We're the hub where we are the heart of a program where a teacher can be in Natchez, Mississippi, and teach a classroom or 4 or 5 classrooms 100 miles away. This particular program, we partner with Delta State University and have been for a long time, where when there are teachers absent, certified teachers aren't in the classroom, we connect teachers in classrooms across the state. And this is a really good program that we're really happy to have, and it's working very well during this pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, the most recent, newest project that we have undertaken is MPB Classroom TV.
Yes.
And that's where we have instruction on television from certified teachers. We are partnered with the Mississippi Department of Education. Their teachers and literacy coaches have been coming to the MPB television studio to record lessons live. And I will tell you, this is very exciting for us. It's very exciting for the Mississippi Department of Education. And it's going to be very helpful to teachers and students and parents when they're at home. And this whole digital divide thing that's happening in Mississippi, which is another topic that I know we'll be talking about, Germaine.
Definitely.
So, MPB Classroom television is going to become more and more diverse in the lessons that we put on. So we hope everybody will take advantage of that and where it's needful. We have our MPB education platform on website and social media sites where you can learn more about that. And I'm sure, Germaine, you'll share that later with everybody.
Right.
And just to mention a couple of other things, we also focus on parents. We have a project called Parents Are Teachers Too, where we encourage and empower parents in different topics and discussions. I love it. We've been doing this digitally during this pandemic with groups of parents across the state of Mississippi, and it's one of our newest projects focusing on parents, and we invite all parents to participate with us. It's open to every Mississippi parent and household. More of that is on our website as well. Mm-hmm. And then we just have other enrichment programs for teachers and students. And you mentioned earlier about our Boots on the Grounds program. This year we had Summer Learning Family Fun Week, where typically is one day where last couple of years, 4,000 folks showed up, okay? This year we had like 8,000 folks tune in.
I know
digitally.
And
beyond. I mean, because we did it digitally, we were able to record it and put it on our website and on our YouTube site. But the thing about our Boots on the Ground, and we're so excited about the opportunity to get back into the community when we can. But right now we're doing a lot of those programs virtually. But we travel across the state, bringing a lot of these programs that I've talked about to people across the state of Mississippi. And I know I said a lot, but that just goes to show, Germaine, we're in the trenches. We're doing it. We don't
right,
let up.
right.
We have a great team in the education department that helps make all of this possible.
Right. MPB Education is your one-stop shop for all things education related. whether that's virtual or in person, you can come to us as that resource, and we are going to help you every step of the way at every level that somebody is on educationally. So we want to be able to be that megaphone, like we said, and we're the hub once again for all things education. Tara, I want to let our listeners know that we'll be introducing, just kind of going back to your notion of the PAT sessions, it'll kind of be a PAT session of sort here on Chalkboard Chat, but we'll introduce Slate sessions. And these Slate sessions will be spaces for teachers to be able to get out any kind of tips and practices that they want to spotlight. So we'll spotlight the teachers, spotlighting those tips and practices. And of course, you never know what you're going to find here and what you're going to be surprised with here on Chalkboard Chat. So there's going to be so many interactive things that we're going to introduce. I think everybody is going to love it, Tara.
I believe you are exactly right, Germaine. The other thing that we're going to do, I believe you mentioned this at the top of the podcast, is we're going to be leaning heavily on our listeners, our followers, to give us ideas. Call in, write in to us, email us. You know, what topics do you want to hear about? Let us hear your voices. What questions do you need answers to? And so that's a lot of what this is going to be as well.
Yes, it is. And so we want to make sure that we are open for business, so to say. So if you want to contact us, please feel free. I like to say, make sure you get at us, because that at and that chat is not just for the look of it, but also we want to make sure that you use that at. And that at is going to be used at Mpb Education. That is going to be Mpb Education spelt out. You can find us on Facebook that way. You can find us on Instagram that way. We are also on Twitter. You can also contact us on our website. That's going to be education.mpbonline.org for more information. Everything will be laid out there. You'll be able to get into that Chalkboard Chat link. You'll be able to listen to us live through that link there. So make sure you do that and follow us at us, like I like to say. But that ad is going to make sure that we get that information from you all and be able to get that out to you all in a timely and precise manner. Tara, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think that I didn't hear you give the email address. Education@mpbonline.org is how someone can send us an email. And Germaine, I'm just really excited to be able to do this with you, to be able to have this platform and voice, the two of us, and excited about all the guests that are going to come on, you know, to talk about the things that we at Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and not just in the education department, but there may be a news story that strikes home. We may invite our news director or someone on her staff over to talk about it. You know, bring on the relevancy of that to education. So we're going to reach across the lines internally as well as across the state of Mississippi.
Right.
I do want to also say that, you know, folks, Mississippi Public Broadcasting is a state agency, and, you know, we live by the support of our listeners. And anybody who wants to help support all these programs that we have mentioned and we'll be talking about can do that in a variety of ways. It can become a member of the Mpb Foundation, which for $5 a month, you know, you can help support all these things that we're doing.
Right, definitely. And
then all these programs and services that we have, businesses and organizations within the community can also support what we're doing through our corporate support department, from underwriting, you know, sales, and to help us that way to keep these programs going within our state that are really helpful to many, many families. So just want to add that in there.
Yeah, definitely.
We want to keep things like this going, and we need the support of our listeners to help us do that.
Right. Do not forget, MPB is not only your education hub, but it is also radio, television, and more. So make sure that you are doing that. If you would like to give to MPB, make sure you do that. And we wanted to go ahead. I want to thank everybody for joining us on this first episode. I am so thankful that you all could come and spend time with us, listen to us, and make sure you tune in next week, because we're going to be exploring, like Tara was saying earlier, Mpb Kids Club, the benefits of your child joining and what it is that Mpb Kids Club has to offer for your child. So tune in next week for that. And don't forget, this is Chalkboard Chat, so we want to make sure we're getting chatty. Tara, I am so thankful to be here with you today.
Likewise, and I want you to get dusty. Let's get dusty.
Okay, I'm about to hit those. I'm about to knock those erasers right together now. I'm hitting those erasers right now. Everybody, thank you so much. I am Germaine Flood.
And I'm Tara Wren.
And you've been listening to Chalkboard Chat. Class is now dismissed.
You've been listening to Chalkboard Chat, a MPB education podcast. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org.